I'll tell you, when they was building that track, I was sitting over there on some stumps they'd sawed off, trees they'd sawed down, and like a kid waiting for Christmas, you know, I couldn't wait for him to get that thing done, to get up there. And that first night was that was really something. I didn't race the first night, but I was there till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning pushing cars out of the mud. It was terrible.
Emery Man.
I remember the night I hit Emery Man in the hind end. It was so embarrassing that I couldn't hardly. We had a team race. Now, Emery Man was a good driver too. I can remember that old 8-ball Chevy just screaming. The only guy I ever knew that shifted cars on the straightaway at Stateline, because he whined that thing out, man. But anyways, we had a team race up there, and I had an old 49 Ford, and I was racing with Eb Young. So each part of the team had a race for a little while, so many laps, you know. But anyways, I was out there and we was motoring around there on a caution flag because they had a big wreck or something there, you know. I'm looking up the stand, look to see where my family is up there, and I turned around and everybody had stopped, and I hit him right square in the back end. Motor mounts broke on that Ford, and the motor went forward, and it stretched the throttle out, and it was screaming, and I looked at, of course, Emery, he turned around and looked, and I went, brakes failed. I never even got to the brake pedal. I hit him, but I hit him pretty hard right there. Good thing it wasn't more than 10 miles an hour.
Kenny C. still recalls vividly his first night on the track. It was at the old Stateline Speedway on the hill above Sugar Grove.
To say I was a little bit nervous because I'd wanted to race a lot, and so we threw this whole car together, and it was a Chevy Coupe, and went up there. And, you know, I didn't do so good in the heat race, and I didn't do so good in the semi. And so they asked me if I wanted the pole or the back end in the feature. No, I wasn't taking no back end. I wanted to be up number one, mistake number one. But when they went to start the race, they were playing the national anthem or whatever. My leg, I was trying to hold the clutch down. It was shaking so bad. I thought the car was going to fall apart, you know. Probably my jaw and everything. But it was really exciting. And we got going there a little bit, and I messed up and caused a restart. And the next time we got going again, and I messed up again, and so it got shoved out of the way. So they didn't want to put up anymore with that stuff. So, but it was quite an experience, anyways.
Kenny Johnson was about 3 cars behind me, and he moved right in to take the lead on the first lap. My, I cut him off something terrible. We all spun around, and about everybody piled in. Then they restarted then, and by the second lap, everybody just ran right over the top of me. Kenny, who was always a great guy and a good friend, caught me in the pits and said, well, you really got your baptism, didn't you?
Yeah. That was quite a deal. That old Jamestown Speedway, I remember going out through the trees over there one time and knocking over them little poplar trees just like they were sticks out there, you know, going off the third turn up there. That was what a place to race. I borrowed a helmet from Bud Finale, and it sat on my head like a turtle shell, you know, right up on top. Well, I dropped that back end of the car over the edge, and they had no retaining wall or fence or anything there. And when the back wheels went down over, the frame caught in the berm, and boy, she just went like that. Well, I knocked my head against the roll bars about 4 times there, and I was laying down in the car ended up on the driver's side, and I was so weak from getting knocked around in there that I couldn't get out of the car, so they thought something was really tough. But I always thought Dean Layfield was the ultimate. I mean, he was, you know, he'd put a big old car through a half-inch hole, seemed like, on the track. If it wasn't there, he'd make it. Yeah. But he was just a hard charger, and I just kind of liked that. I liked Earnhardt, the way Earnhardt used to drive, the old Earnhardt there. Just kind of, look out, here I come, you know. If you don't get out of the way, you're going to get out of the way. Yeah. But that was the way that we used to race back in them days, you know. If the hole wasn't there, you made one. He had a lot to do with a lot of people getting energized about racing, I'll tell you, because, you know, it looked like he was really having a lot of fun out there.
Is there one racer that you just didn't want to have at that last lap?
Well, I think one of my heroes is Tom Dill.
Sorry if we you win! You win! That's everybody says that.
Yeah, he's one guy that you wouldn't want to try to get by in the last lap, I'll tell you, because either you both wouldn't finish the race or you wouldn't anyways. But that was the way he was. But I'll tell you something about Tom Dill. I think he had more talent to drive a race car. I mean, all-around talent. He didn't do a terrible amount of winning at Stateline, but he could do things with a car that I'd never seen anybody else do, you know.
And this happened at Coon Road Speedway here in Westfield. It was then that Ken became a man of mystery. Tell the rest of the story.
Yeah, that was I was working at the time. It was the first truck driving job I had for Furniture Express. George Rindosh owned it.
Right.
And he was pretty hard-nosed about drivers and stuff like that. And so I wanted to go racing. He wanted everybody out of town by noon on Sunday, you know, that had to go somewhere. Well, you know, nobody raced Sunday morning. Everybody raced Sunday afternoon. So I take my truck home to Lakewood. I lived in Lakewood at the time, and hide it in the alley back there and jump in the car and go up to Coon Road to the Speedway. And well, I knew I had a pretty good car, and it worked good at Coon Road. It was just about the right size track for it. And so I told him, I said, whatever you do, if I happen to win, I said, don't get my name in the paper. Say anything you want to say. It don't bother me a bit. But I said, don't put my name in the paper. And I told him the reason, you know. I said, boss will read that and he'll wonder how I was at two places at the same time, you know. And it would have probably cost me my job. But as it was, I did win the feature. And so the next Monday, I didn't know what they was going to do. And next Monday in the paper it says, mystery man wins feature at Coon Road Speedway. I was known as Mr. X or Mystery Man or something, you know. And so anyways, it was kind of a deal. Squirt spun me out one time and on the main straightaway, and the car rolled up on the side right on the main straightaway. And the guy that owned this car here, he went over and after the races were over there, he went over and laid a sledgehammer on top of Squirt's roof while he was still in the car, and he says, you touch our car again, he said, I'll beat this thing down to the ground, you know. Ronnie Blackmer was running really pretty good in the 50-lapper at Erie's one night, and Ronnie Blackmer kind of took me out in a turn. No reason at all, and so by the time I ruined a brake, I busted a brake line when we went in the infield and fixed it and went back out there. And I shouldn't tell this story because it's not very nice, but he come by and I thought, I look like a target on his back end there. So I kind of took him out. And then Charlie Piazza, who had been really riding roughshod on our car in the past, he bumped me and, well, you son of a gun. Well, he went by and he didn't get all the way by. But